A very good afternoon to all my dear accountancy students and welcome to the lecture of Advanced Accounting and Auditing Paper 1, that is Costing. This is Professor Shaurya Shah welcoming you all to our lecture. Now dear students, till last lecture we had completed around 2 sums including your first in first out method, last in first out method and weighted average method. Fine. I had also provided you the notes for the same and all the practice sums for it also, right? As I already told you students, this comes maximum for 4 marks in your university exam paper. So today we'll be doing 2 more sums, that is question number 3 and question number 4. You must already be having with you, right? So that we'll be solving it today, and today itself we'll be concluding with the chapter. As such, I hope it is easy and clear to you all. Fine. So today we will be starting with question number 3, that is your VNSGU 2014, right? I hope you all must be ready with the formats. Fine, you have to prepare 2 formats in advance as I have already told you in previous lectures. So we'll be starting today with the question number 3 students. As you can see, question number 3 is your VNSGU 2014. What you need to prepare is, you need to prepare the stores ledger under weighted average method, right students? So under your weighted average method, you need to prepare this stores ledger. So we'll be quickly starting it, right? Again, a very easy sum. Again and again it is asked in your exam. The pattern remains the same, but here no FIFO LIFO. It is just weighted average method, right? So as usual, we'll be writing, this is my question number 3, VNSGU 2014, right? So I'll write down under method, I'll write down weighted average method, right? Under method, I'll write down weighted average method. On the very first day, that is 2 March 2013, right? So what I'll do is, I'll write down the month March. Here I'll write down 2013 and I'll write down your 2nd March. So 2nd March, how much is my receipt? Receipt is 200, rate is 2.00. Then my amount comes to students 400 rupees, right? I suppose now everyone are clear with the concepts, whatever we are doing since 3 lectures, right? So we'll be going on a bit faster today. So issues, I'll put up dash. What it will be? My balance, right? So as I already told you in the previous lectures that the first balance, the receipt remains the same. The only problem arises when 2 receipts comes and then you have to give the effect for your closing balance, right? So till now I hope it will be clear to all of you. Now on the next date, that is 10th March, you have again received 300 quantity at the rate of 2.40, right students? So 300 into 2.40 gives me the answer of 720, right? So my amount becomes 720. Issue, again I'll put up dash. Now the question arises of the calculation, right? Because it is weighted average method, so you need to combine both the material and you need to put up a price for that, right? So calculation, after your formats you can do the calculation as I already informed you. So what you need to do is, you need to remember the formula. For your knowledge I am writing, it is P1 Q1 plus P2 Q2, P1 Q1 plus P2 Q2 upon Q1 plus Q2, right? So for 10th March, what is the quantity and the price, right? P1 is my 200, P2 is my, again Q1 is my 200, P2 is my 2, plus price is 2.40 into 300, right? P1, P2, Q1, Q2. So what I'll do is, I'll write down here upon Q1 plus Q2. So 200 plus 300. So when I solve this, 200 into 2, that is 400 plus 720, I am already having it, divided by 500, right? So what you will get is students, you will get the value of 2.24 rupees. 2.24 rupees is my value, right? So I'll write down, in weighted average method we directly write down the add up quantity. So 200 plus 300 is now again 500, then the rate which I found out, that is 2.24. So 500 into 2.24 gives me the value of 1120, right? So it gives me the value of 1120. I suppose it is clear to each and everyone. Understanding this is very important, students, right? If you are clear with this concept, then the chapter is nothing. Fine, it is very easy. Now the next transaction comes on your 15th of March. So on 15th, you have issued 250, right? So in receipt, I'll write down dash, in issue 250. Now what will be the rate, right? Without using any brain, our rate will be, because it is going out of this only, right? As you can see, out of 500 we are giving 250, so the rate will also be 2.24, right? So again multiply 250 into 2.24 gives me 560, right, students? So what will be the balance? It was 500 minus 250, it gives me 250. Rate will remain the same, there will be no change, because unless and until there is no new issue, right? So again, half of 1120, because 500 is 250, 560 is gone, then I can easily do it. It is 560. I suppose it is clear to each and everyone, right? Now students, moving on to the next transaction. We have done 2nd March, we have done 10th March, we have done 15th March, now 18th March. Again a new issue comes, right? So new issue is 250 quantity. What is my rate, students? It is 2.60, right? So multiply 250 into 2.60 gives me the answer of 650, right? So write down here 650. In issues it will be dash. Now you have to add up. 250 plus 250 gives me 500, right? The issue comes when you start calculating the price. So on which date it is, students? It is on 18th March 2013. Again I will multiply, right? What I'll multiply? The earlier one and the new one, right? So now my quantity 1 becomes 250. 250 into 2.24. Many students commit a mistake of taking this figures. No, you need to take the balance figure, right? 250 into 2.24 plus 250 into 2.60 divided by 250 plus 250, right? So when you will solve this, multiply 250 into 2.24, 560 plus 250 into 2.6, that is 650. So 560 plus 650 divided by 500, right, students? So I'll get the answer of 2.42 rupees. And it should be clear to each and everyone, right? So 2.42 rupees into 500, that gives me the answer of 1210, right? So that gives me the answer of 1210. I hope it is clear till here, everyone, right? You should be clear with this formula, again repeating it, right? And the last thing which they have told, they have issued 200. No, again problem in that. On the date of 20th March, issues how much? 200. What will be the price? It will be from this price, right? Because out of 400 you are issuing 200. So 2.42. So 200 into 2.42 gives me the answer of 484, right? So how much I am left out with, students? 500 minus 200, that is 300. Rate as it is will remain the same, 2.42. So 300 into 2.42 gives me the answer of 726. And suppose it is clear to each and every student, right? So what we have done is, students, on the basis of weighted average method, we are giving weight to what? To quantity also and to price also. That is why it is known as weighted average, right? If it was simple average, then we could have directly taken the mean out of it. Fine. So just consider this thing. What is the last step? Last step is to do the total of quantity, issues and the balance, right? So 200 plus 300 gives me 500 minus 2 plus 250 gives me 750, right? What is my quantity issued? 250 plus 200 gives me 450. So what is my balance left out? 300. The last step which you can find out. I hope it is clear. And what is the value of the balance? 726. I suppose it is clear to each and everyone, right? So 726, the last value you need to take, students, right? So from that you can easily calculate the values. Fine. If you do the total, if you want to cross tally it, right? If you do the total of this, then also you will get the answer. So 400 plus 720 plus 650 gives me 1770. and 560 plus 484 gives me 1044, right? So if I deduct 177 minus 1044, then also I am getting the same answer. So this is tallied, right? So this is my correct answer. I hope it is clear to each and every student, right? So this is the part for very 4 marks it has been asked, students, right? So what is the 4 value which is important is this last column. Is it clear to all of you? Fine. I hope you all must have written with me only together. So we will start with the next sum, that is question number 4, right? So question number 4 is your VNSGU 2013 that we are going to start. I'll give you 1 minute. Just complete your sum. If you have not done it, then we'll be starting with the next sum, students. Okay, fine, students. So we'll be beginning it with it, right? You need to prepare 3 formats, right? 3 formats, one for your FIFO, one for your LIFO, and third for your weighted average method, right? As you can see, it is VNSGU 2013 question number 4 of your practice questions, which I have given to you already, right? So VNSGU 2013. The following information is given for the month of January 2013. Opening stock is nil, right? So there is no opening stock, students. Prepare a store's ledger under, right, as you can see, is given for January 2013. Opening stock is nil, right? So there is no opening stock, students. You need to prepare the store's ledger under LIFO method, then FIFO method, and under weighted average method, right, students? So only a very small information is given. 2 issues and 2, again we can say, purchases, but you need to prepare 3 statements for them, right? So we'll be quickly starting with that part, not much difficult. So students, right, so we'll be starting. What is the first method you need to do is the FIFO method, right? So we'll be starting with the stock register under FIFO method. What is the first thing, students? It is starting from your purchases, right? So as I am able to read in my question, it is 2013 January month. On the very first day, right, we'll be doing it very quickly because it is very easy. Just you need to fill in the blanks, right? January 100 units at 1 rupee per rate. So 100 units at 1 rupee per rate. You can write down 1.00, or as such there is no, again we can say, the decimal point, so you can directly write down, right? So 100 into 1, amount will be 100, issue is dash, so quantity will be 100, right? Moving on to the next part, that is again directly on 20 January, you have received more 100 units at 2 rupees per unit, so 200 rupees. Now the balance you need to write down, students, right? So balance will be having 2 quantities. Remember, this is FIFO. So earlier one 100 into 100, and the new 100 into 2, that is 200. So overall I can say I am having 200 kg or 200 units, students, right? That is my closing stock. Now on 22nd of January, students, you have issued 60 units. So in receipt I will write down dash, in quantity I'll write down 60. The rate from which you will give it first in first out. So the person who came first will go out first, right? So at the rate of 1, so amount will be 60. Now out of 100 you have given 60. So remaining is 40. The rate will be 1. So the rate here will also be 40. This remains as it is, students. 100 into 2, 200. So now you are having 140 kg as your closing stock. I hope it is clear, students, to all of you, right? Now on the last date, that is 27th of January, you have again issued 60 units, right? So my mistake, it will not be written here. 60 is my issues, right? It happens many times. So you need to again try not to commit the mistake. 60 issues, rate. Now here you cannot give the direct 60 students, right? Because from the earlier one you are having only 40, right? So what you will do here is, first you will give 40 out of the older one, right? So 40 units will be from the rate of 1, that is 40, and the remaining 20 will be from the rate of 2, so that will be equals to 40, right? So that will be equals to 40. So this is my total whatever I am having, right? So at last, if you can see students, the closing balance will be 80 into, you are having the rate of 2 rupees, so 160. So what is the closing balance I am having? 80 kg, right? So that itself tell me that is my 80 is my balance. Here if I do the quantity total, that is 200, and here if I do the quantity total, that is 120. So it is getting tallied. 200 minus 120 will give me 80, and here the rate is 160 rupees, right? Here quickly if I do it, it is 300, 60 plus 40 plus here it is 140. So I am getting the total 200, here it is 300, 120, 140, 80 and 160, right? I suppose it is very much easy, students, so that you can quickly do it, right? No time needed for that if your concepts are clear. Okay, fine. I assume all of you must have done this, students, right? So we'll be starting with the next method, that is according to LIFO, right? So this second method is asked in your exam, that is LIFO method, right? So we'll be doing it. Again, I'm writing question number 4, LIFO, so that I'm not confused, right? So LIFO method. Now understand, students, whatever comes last will go first, right? Whatever comes last will go first. So will there be any effect on the receipt? Definitely it should come on your mind that no effect on the receipt. Only effect will come on the issue and the closing balance, right? So we'll write down very quickly again. 2013 January, the date is 1st January. Received will remain the same, 100, 100, issues dash, balance 100, 100, right? As such, there is no change in receipt, students, right? Again on 20th January, you are receiving 100 units at 2, so 200 dash dash, again dash, right? Here again you will write down 100, 100, and here 100 to 200. So your total quantity becomes 200 kg. Am I clear till here, right? It will remain the same, students, in all the three methods, whether it is a FIFO, whether it is a LIFO, or whether it is VEM. No change in it, right? Now starting with the issues, that is on 22nd of January, right? 22nd of January, your issues is 60 units. 60 units. In that method, we took it from the first batch. But here it is LIFO. So who came last? The 100 units family with 2 rupees price came last, right? So we will take out 60 members out of this family. So 60 into 2, that is equals to 120, right? So 60 into 2, that is equals to 120. Now the quantity left out with me is 100 people with 1 rupees rate, that is 100. And from this family, I have only 40 units left out, right? So 40 units into 2, that is equals to 80. So now I am having 140 kg, right? Understand, students, the total quantity remains the same, right? There is no change in that part. But the only change which comes is in your price, right? Is it clear? Now the last adjustment you can say, that is 27th of January. Again it is a issue, 60 units, right? Again 60 units. Same thing which I did in the previous method also, right? Purposefully I am doing it so that you can understand. At the time of issue, in either of the methods, do not directly write down the quantity, right? First see whether you are having it or not. So I am having only 40 and 20, right? So 40 will go out from the last family, that is 40 into 280, and this 20 will be going from the rate of 1 rupees. Is it clear? So 80 and 20. Is it clear to all the students, right? So 80 and 20 is my, again, the issues. So what is left out is, I am now left out is this 40 is gone. Out of this 100, 20 are gone. So 80 into 1, that is equals to your 80. Is it clear? So at last I am having 80 as my balance. I hope it is clear to each and every student, right? If you are conceptually clear, this is very easy. Again, doing the total, quantity remains same, 200, rate is 300, here quantity becomes 120, here amount becomes 220, here my quantity last final is my closing balance 80, and here my price is also 80. So if you do it simultaneously, 200 minus 120 gives me 80. 300 minus 220 gives me 80. So my answer is correct. I hope it is clear to each and every student, right? Why we are focusing more on one sum, students? Because same type of sums prototype will be asked in your exam, just with a change in figure, and all the methods you should know, right? So once you practice around 5 to 6 sums which I have given, then your second part of the chapter is done, right? And why not to score more? We are accountancy students, so every time we need to score each and every mark. Remember students, 45 plus in accountancy is not a dream, right? In theory it is difficult to get it, but if you are conceptually clear, accounts, the more you practice, the more you earn, right? So there is a quote, that is, more you learn, more you earn. So we are here to earn more marks. Is it clear? So learning and earning the marks is going in end to end, right? So I hope you all must be clear with this part. Moving on to the last part, right, that is related to your weighted average method of the same sum. So we'll be continuing, students, with weighted average method. The sum remains the same. Again, I'll give the heading stock registered under weighted average method, right? So start with it, students, right? The very first date, that is 2013 January 1st, I told you the receipt remains the same, right? So we'll write down 100 quantity, rate is 1, amount will be 100. So my balance will become 100. On the 20th of January, students, again I am receiving 100 units at 2 per unit. So 200, right? Again, now I need to write down the balance. It will also remain the same, 100, 1 and 100, 100, 2 and 200. So my quantity will become 200 kg, right? As I told you, in all the methods, right? In all the methods, your quantity will remain the same. Just calculate it, students. So here it is your weighted average method, right? So can I directly write down here 2 rupees? No, right? So you need to calculate here. It was same in your FIFO and LIFO method, but here you need to calculate the average amount, right? So again, come to your calculation part. On the date of 20th January 2013, you need to multiply the price and the quantity, right? So what I'll do is, earlier 100 into price is 1 plus next 100 into price is 2 divided by 100 plus 100. 100 plus 100, right? So I'll get the answer of 300 divided by 200, that is 1.5. Right? Purposefully I am writing this so that you can understand this in every sum, right? So 1.5. So what I need to do, students, here is cancelling all this thing. You just need to write down the total, that is 200. Here you need to write down 1.5, right? So 200 into 1.5 gives me the total amount of 300 kg, right? So 300 kg is your final answer, right? That is related to your first closing stock. Now students, issues, right? Directly you are being giving issue out of it. So how much on 22nd of January you are issuing 60 units. The rate will be this only, right? Whatever we have calculated, the same rate, 1.5. So 60 into 1.5, if I do it, my amount comes to 90, right? So on this date, again there is no new receipt, so it will remain the same, 140 into 1.5. So 140 into 1.5 gives me the answer of 210, right? So again on 27th of January there is a new issue, 60 units remain the same as such, there is no new issue, so it will be 90. Now it will become 80, 1.5. So 80 into 1.5 will give me the answer of 120. Will give me the answer of 120, right? So doing the total, students, 200, amount will be 300, quantity will be 120, here 180, here the final quantity I am having will be always the last column or the last row which you are having, that is 80, here the value is 120, right? So here also, students, if you note, 200 minus 1, again 200 minus 120 gives you the value of 80. 300 minus, again we can say the amount 180 gives you the answer of 120, right? I hope it is clear to each and every student, right? So here, as such, transactions were less. After your issue, no new receipt was there. So your final answer remains the same, only one calculation was there. Is it clear? So quantity remains the same in each and every method, but the only change will come in your, again we can say, the balance amount. I hope it is clear to each and every student, right? So these are the 4 sums which we practiced in lecture. Actually 4 sums are equal to your 12 sums, right? Because we have multiplied it with 3 methods. In your 4 marks exam, either this kind of sums will be asked in which all the methods are there, or either any one sum with a particular method, right? I hope it is clear to each and everyone. So 4 marks easily scoreable, you can do it. So far, students, we have completed your material costing chapter part 1 with all the formulas, part 2 with this particular, again we can say, FIFO, LIFO and WEM method, right? We have also done the theory part. Now I hope you all must have got the notes also from the Google Classroom. Also inform your friends who are not able to get the notes, right? Start reading it, students. As you all must be aware, from the next week onwards our assignment week is going to start. I'll put up the syllabus for the same in Google Classroom only for costing, that is Advanced Accounting and Auditing paper 1, right? So it will be mostly theory part, right? No sums will be asked particularly, at least in assignment number 1 from my side, so that every one of you can understand the concepts and you can write it down, fine? So theory questions, that will be again from most important university questions only. So once you prepare it, your efforts are worthwhile for your exams also, right? So I hope it is clear to each and everyone, fine? So that's all for today's lecture, students. Let's conclude it. From the next lecture onwards, that is tomorrow, right, our lectures will be live session on Zoom, right? So I request you, each and everyone, to again download Zoom app and again join 5 minutes prior to your lecture timings, because it will be online and whenever it is practical, so again you will miss if you are late, right? So kindly join it before time and keep your again calculators notes with yourself so that we can start solving it, fine? Tomorrow's lecture will start with the new chapter of your costing, then we will study further, fine? So taking your leave, students, this is Professor Shaurya Shah, teaching you Advanced Accounting and Auditing paper 1. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good day ahead. Happy learning. See you soon in the next lecture.